on Drury Lane.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way.
Well, welcome to the radio station. This is what we call our meet and greet room, and we've had several local artists help us decorate it. If you notice the walls here, over here we have Our Lady of Guadalupe. So we've had several people from our area who have come forward and volunteered to do some artwork in the studio. And this is the first one we had done, and it was done by a nurse at St. Peter's Hospital, a young lady, Erica.
And it's still not finished, but almost.
So
it's taken her a year. She spent a year so far on this. She spent a lot of work. So
Our Lady of Guadalupe appeared to a Native American man near Mexico City, and she was the inspiration for many people coming into the Christian faith back around when the right after the Spanish kind of came into that area. And these are the words that she spoke. I am not here. Am I not here? Who am your mother? Are you not under my shadow and protection? Am I not the cause of your joy? Are you not in the hollow of my mantle, in the crossing of my arms? Do you need anything more? This one over here happens to be a stained glass window in the Church of Adam and Eve in Dublin, Ireland. And we have taken for our corporate name this Latin phrase, Pax et Bonum, peace and all good. And that's where we get our radio letters from. Every radio station has to have call letters, and our call letters are WOPG, words of peace and goodness. So Joe Heppenstall took the photo that was sent to me of this stained glass window and painted it on the wall here for us. And it definitely makes our mission come alive, I think, the glorious colors here and the phrase Pax et Bonum.
this again is from Joe Heppenstall, a local artist. It's a work in progress. She's in the process of painting this now. And this is a Sacred Heart, and she's using icons as part of the artwork. Some icons that we got at EWTN in Alabama, the home of Mother Angelica, a few years ago. So she didn't think we displayed them well, so she made this big mural for us.
And this is a picture of Jesus' heart when he died on the cross and was stabbed, and blood and water came forth from his side. So that's what this particular piece of artwork is all about. Welcome to our broadcast studio, and here we have
one more art piece of artwork from Joe Heppenstall, and this is Tom's favorite.
Yeah, this is what I call here the Happy Jesus. And Joe painted this on a 4x8 sheet of plywood in her backyard. And I said, Joe, you can't leave this kind of artwork out in the open. It's going to get ruined by upstate New York weather. So I got her to take a great photo of it, and I had this reproduction of it done and mounted it here in the studio. So whenever we're talking live on the radio, guess who's looking over our shoulder, making sure we're talking about the will of God. And I just love this picture, because how often do you see artwork showing a happy Jesus? And I believe Jesus is happy with all of his creation. Right now, I want to show you some of the hard parts of radio, how the sound goes from this microphone to the back of the building and lots of equipment, out to the 3 big towers we have out here, or 3 of them. So Tad, you might be wondering what all this equipment is sitting here right in front of me. Well, I was wondering what it was too when we got started.
And I still do. I still wonder what the equipment is.
You know, back in 2006, Laura and I were struggling with some issues in our lives, and we were going out to visit our daughter in Buffalo. And after talking several hours about that particular issue, we turned on the radio, and it happened to be Catholic broadcasting. And we said, what the heck is Catholic broadcasting? We never heard of it before. And lo and behold, it turned out to be Catholic radio in Buffalo, New York. So when we came back here, we happened to find out that the FCC was going to offer the opportunity for new non-commercial educational radio stations. And there's something that they called an open window. So in the fall of 2007, we had to prepare an application. It took engineers and lawyers and business plans and all this stuff to get it all ready. And you have 1 week to get everything submitted to the FCC, and then they try and decide who's going to get a permit, because there's not much frequency band left on the radio stations anymore. Well, we submitted ours, and lo and behold, we were competing with 7 other entities trying to get a radio station. And here's Tom and Laura. Tom was an engineer working on power plants. Here's Laura, a nurse who helped people in the nursing home. We knew nothing about radio, and we got the help we needed, and lo and behold, we won. And I'm not going to say who we beat out, but they were pretty substantial radio people. So Laura and I say, it's not our fault we got this radio station, because we were way overmatched in terms of trying to win an opportunity to build a new radio station.
I couldn't believe that it happened, that we won. I could not believe it.
So we knew we won in 2007, but then it took a couple years for the FCC to actually give us a permit. And we started what is now the first part of Catholic radio in our area. That's an FM station, and it has a tower in Cherry Valley, New York. And that radio station was built with volunteers from around here with used equipment at a tower that used to be owned by people that brought radio and TV signals up to our area using these big microwaves. I think all of you have probably seen these towers with these huge dishes on them, and you wonder what the heck is going on. Well, those things were probably bringing you TV stations way back when. That facility was built in 1970. So we acquired it in 2009, and we became the owners of this tower that Verizon no longer wanted. And there we built from scratch a new FM radio station. Out in 2013, Walt Disney, the guy who made Mickey Mouse, decided to sell a lot of their radio station. One of those is 1460 AM, which is where we're sitting here right now.
This was Radio Disney.
So Laura and I prayed a lot about, should we do this? This radio, a lot of AM radio stations can broadcast at a high power during the daytime, but at night they have to turn way down low because of interference among AM radio stations. Well, this station broadcasts at 5,000 watts in the daytime in what's called an omnidirectional antenna, equal power all the way around. Then at nighttime we still broadcast at 5,000 watts, but it primarily goes to the north. And so it reaches Albany, Troy, Schenectady fairly well 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we moved forward, made an offer, they accepted it, and we ended up starting broadcasting from this facility in January of 2014. There was no heating system when we bought it. And so when we were first getting started, it was a very cold winter in January.
Yes.
And we were sitting here with our coats on. We got our heating system in the spring of 2014. But when it was the coldest weather, we were really chilly here. We went on the air and we moved all the Disney furniture and equipment into this building from where they used to have it. Because
We have all Cinderella chairs.
yeah, we have Cinderella chairs.
And wonderful Bishop Hubbard came and he blessed the building for us. And we didn't have any heat. It was March 7th. And he came in here without any heat and blessed our building.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bishop.
So again, I said I was an engineer and Laura was a nurse. Neither of us had any radio experience. We didn't know what a lot of these gizmos are. Radio, from an electrical point of view, is entirely different than power plants. So
nursing.
We got we got great volunteers. So where we're sitting now includes some of the equipment that came along with the Disney acquisition that we made. And this panel right here is from Radio Systems, is where we control the audio when we're doing a live broadcast. And so when I first looked at it, I said, look at all these buttons and sliders and meters, and what the heck is all that junk? Well, I quickly learned how this operates. And essentially what's going on here, this is the audio that's going out onto the air right now. Laura just turned up the speaker so we could hear it.
That's one button I could touch.
So basically we have the person who's in control uses this microphone. It's controlled by this equipment. If I press this button, this microphone comes on. I can press it, but I need to push up this slider for the audio to get loud, so the people hopefully aren't hearing me talk right now. I'm going to turn it back off. And then we have buttons and sliders for 3 more microphones around here, so when we have guests, we can have up to 4 people, or if there's more, we have to share, and that's happened at times. And then we get a lot of our programming from EWTN, Eternal Word Television Network, and that comes through this channel right now. You can see this button is lit and it's on and the slider's up. And this meter here shows us that the audio coming in and going out of here is at a proper level. We don't want this needle to go into the red part here too often. That means we're over-modulating, and it really doesn't sound too good when you do that.
Well, another thing too is we get that wonderful programming from EWTN. People really like it. So for us to do a lot of local programming live, we don't really have the skills, not like they do at EWTN. So we usually, once in a while, we have a radiothon because we're non-commercial educational. So we do have to take donations and we have to ask for money. Most of the time we don't do live broadcasts. However, we did do a live broadcast on Saturday from Auriesville the first time, and that went fairly well.
And they had a youth conference there, and it was very powerful. We
Carved as nails, right?
Yeah, yes.
The show you are watching has been produced by SACC.TV. SAC TV is a not-for-profit organization that provides educational programming, seeking to enrich communities by producing shows on culture, science, health, the arts, and more. SAC TV is member-driven, which means that we rely on donations, grants, underwriting, and volunteers to deliver quality content. SAC.TV has been in operation continually since 1974 and currently operates a full-time studio in Rotterdam, New York. In recent years, SAC.TV has produced over 500 community-driven programs that are all available to view free to the public on www.sac.tv, on demand 24 hours a day. SAC.TV also airs shows on local television, channels such as WNYT, My 4 Albany, with programs like Do You Know the Muffin Man, Caught in the Crossfire, Scene TV, Tune Into Wellness Today, and The Janice Thompson Show. Check your local programming schedule or www.sac.tv for times and dates. In SAC.tv's mission to connect and inform communities and individuals, every week we're producing new shows. To be able to provide this service, we are in need of your help. There's a lot of ways you can help SAC.tv and in turn help your community. Visit www.sac.tv. There you can click on Donate and select the contribution level of your choice. You can also help SAC.tv by sponsoring an ongoing program, volunteering behind the scenes, or even producing your own show. And as always, if you enjoy what you've seen, visit us on YouTube and Facebook. Subscribe, like, share, and pass the word around. For more information and to see the latest shows, visit www.sac.tv or contact us as director@sac.tv or by phone at 518-831-9145. For now, back to our program, and stay tuned for more great shows.
So we talked about when we first got it, it was so cold. This is our new furnace that we got here. It's efficient and it heats the building very nicely. But not this room back here, because radio transmitters like to be as cool as possible. So you can see this door must remain closed. I'm going to open it now.
And let you in.
Okay, so if you take a peek in here, you can kind of see some of the lights that are available here. And so these lights kind of give us an indication of what's going on with various pieces of equipment. Let me turn on the overhead lights so we can get maybe a better view of what's in here.
Here we are.
So the audio that comes from our broadcast studio over there comes into these panels right here. In fact, it comes into this device right here, which is called a distribution amplifier. And this thing takes one audio signal and it sends it to our backup transmitter. It sends it to our primary transmitter. It sends it to the FM radio station through this box, which is called a codec box. So this takes the audio from here and sends it through the internet out to a barn in Sharon Springs. And on the barn we have a Wi-Fi dish that goes the last 2 miles up to the radio tower of the FM radio station. And it also sends it to this computer right here, and this computer sends the audio out into the internet so that you can get it on your smartphones or on your computer or any kind of device like that where you have internet service. Here you can kind of see what the signal looks like in terms of its audio strength, these lines blinking up and down here. And this one will tell us how it looks coming out of the antenna. We have these meters here that tell us how much power is being sent to each of the 3 towers out there. This device kind of tells us when we're operating in a proper mode for day-night operation. In the daytime, as I mentioned, we can operate omnidirectional, 360 degrees around. At nighttime, we broadcast primarily to the north. You know what's kind of interesting, when we are broadcasting to the north, I get emails from people in the Scandinavian countries because they like to listen to long distance radio, and they pick up WOPG in Finland and Norway and Sweden, and then they call me to ask me to verify that they're listening to this radio station so they can get credit for listening to something far away. So we get to talk to these people all over the world. Sometimes it's really surprising and fun thing to do. When we switch from day to night, we have this huge box here, and it's full of big condensers and inductors and switches, and that's what changes the radio signal so that it's no longer going to the south, it just primarily goes to the north in terms of what is required by our FCC permit. So we can't see the facilities at the FM station because that's 40 miles west of here, but it's got a lot of similar things to this. However, it's a little bit different because it's frequency modulation, that's what FM stands for, and we're amplitude modulation, that's what AM stands for. Modulation is just how the sound waves are, go up and down. That's called modulation, and that is what our ears can hear, the sound that comes from our mouth or whatever. And so that's basically the equipment here. Well, welcome to this area of the studio. Primarily this is just a transition from the main parts that we've already seen back into the transmitter room. But we've got a picture here of St. Isaac Jogues, who was a Jesuit priest that came to this area in the 1500s. And he worked with the Native Americans at that time, and he was martyred at Orisville, New York. And there's a shrine there for him. And we have a close relationship with that shrine. We have broadcast live there a couple times, and we've recorded inspirational talks they do there and those kinds of things.
We've showed you our radio station. We're now back in the broadcasting area with our Happy Jesus, and we're going to just relax a minute and tell you a little bit more about us. Go ahead, Tom.
Well, as we said, we're a new radio station coming on to this area. Not many people know about us, really. And to advertise in today's world costs a lot of money. So we count on word of mouth frequently, that people who might tune in and listen and get something that is meaningful for their life, that they will tell their friends and neighbors about us. So we have a plan on how to achieve that. And that plan involves these cards. And here we have the information about the two radio stations, our Words of Peace and Goodness here, we have our mailing address, and we have our studio location where we are here. And on the back, we have our mission statement. And our mission statement reads, "The mission is to share the truths of the Catholic Church in order to foster growth in both faith and action among the churched and unchurched, believers and non-believers." We believe that there is a truth when it comes to this whole world and the fact that we're really here. And it's our job, my job, Laura's jobs, the listeners' jobs here, to figure out what that truth is. There's huge amount of competing information on what is true and good in this world. And we hope that our listeners will try to listen to what we have to say and see if they can really believe what we're talking about. So when we meet our listeners, we give them a block of these cards, and we ask them to go out and tell their friends and neighbors about the radio station, why it's important to them, and invite them to listen. The most important time for them to listen, we believe, is when that person, that new listener, is alone in their car and they can do anything they want. So if they're kind of embarrassed about, do I really want to listen to these church people or not? They can do it without anyone criticizing them or anything. They can give it a hearing and see if it really might help them in their life. It's happened many times throughout this whole Christian environment in the 2,000 years. People hear about the truth from someone talking to them face to face, eye to eye. And that's what's so important. I think a lot of this stuff on internet and newspapers and all that is fine, but there's nothing like a face-to-face encounter with someone who truly believes in what they think is true. And they can do their best to explain it. I don't know it all. Laura doesn't know it all. Nobody knows it all. But when we share our thoughts and our love between one another, I think that truth will become known to everyone involved. So I want to say God bless you to all of you. I hope you think about what it means this Easter season. It's not about marshmallow chickens or hard-boiled eggs with colors on them or rabbits running around a field. This is about recognizing that the God of the universe came here, died for you. And so, phone's ringing right now. Someone's calling. I'm going to say goodbye and thank you for being with us.
Well, welcome back. I'm still trying to bake the muffins. But finally, I think we're finished. I hope you enjoyed our show today. If you would like to make an order or donate muffins to charity, then please go to the website listed below. With every muffin order, we donate muffins to the charity of your choice. I call it giving your dough to charity. I also encourage you to donate directly to the featured charity today by going directly to our website and getting their information. Thank you very much for watching, and keep on dancing through life by giving to others through love. Let me finish baking these muffins, and see you next time.